powers are legendary. Their origins are unknown. Their methods are extreme.
And the game is on.
LXG, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Coming back at you with the round by round breakdown of this year's draft, we have the
Fantasy League.
Want to try it again?
We have you can edit that out, right? Yeah.
We'll do it one more time.
I'd be terrible on live
I'll see which
TV.
one's better. Are you ready
All
this
right.
time? Okay.
I think so. What am I saying? Episode 2, Fantasy League.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen video cast. I don't know, whatever.
Yep.
Something.
Yep. I got it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Coming back at you with episode 2, the round by round draft recap. It's
Fantasy League of Extraordinary Gentlemen's episode 2 draft recap. It is 6:30 in the morning in America. What time is it in Japan?
It's 8:30 at night. It's crazy baby time. That's what it's.
Crazy baby time.
Crazy baby.
Some of my
time.
favorite time.
Oh, sorry. It's 9 o'clock, as my wife is very clearly telling me. So we gotta go. All right, let's
All right.
look at this. We're gonna go this round by round, guys. We're gonna do a pick, a worst, and the best, a winner and loser for each round. We're gonna give you a couple points. At the end of the day, we're gonna have a draft champion. But let's start. Let's kick it off with the first round. I'll go first. My winner of the first round. It's really anti-dramatic, but it's Matt. First pick of the draft. He picked David Johnson. It's a no-brainer, whatever you want to say, but he did it. He didn't do anything crazy, so he gets a point from me. How about you, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot of wiggle room there with all the keepers. I had Matt with David Johnson as well. I mean, obvious first pick, but like you said, he pulled the trigger on it, so it was the right move to do.
Nice. How about the loser for round 1? What do you think, Josh?
So as much as it pains me to do so, I had to go with the hometown pick of Jordan Howard. While I think he's definitely a first rounder, I think he was taken pretty high. Especially when you had a guy like Jordy Nelson still on the board.
Mm-hmm.
I think Howard went a little too high, and I think you're going to be a little disappointed there. Especially, we didn't have this information when we did the draft, but after Cam Meredith had that nasty knee injury on Sunday, I think Jordan Howard's going to see a lot of stacked boxes this year. So.
Yeah, I see. That'll give a -1 for Neil for that round. For me, as I touched on it in the pre-draft show, just not that big on Dez, man. I think he could have got him in the second round. He picked pretty early in the second round. I think he could have got him there. So I'm gonna give him. Ben gets my pick for the first round loser. Who'd you got in the second round, Josh?
Second round guy I really like is Doug Baldwin. I think he's in line for a monster year. A ton of targets out there. I think him and Russell Wilson have great chemistry. That's my favorite pick around 2.
So here's the question: Do we give the point to the person who drafted him, or do we give the point to the person who traded for him? Because he's already been traded.
Oh, that's right.
I guess.
Oh, right. Somebody traded.
Yeah.
He traded him for Brandon Cooks, right?
Yeah. I think we have to give the point to the person who drafted him, though, because it is the draft show.
But I think we take one away for trading him right away.
I don't think we can do it. So I think that should be Aaron. So Aaron gets a point. For me, the winner of the second round is actually Adam. I think getting Gronkowski in the 11th pick late in the second round was a steal. And like I told you, I was going to take him. You know, that was one of the two people that was going to keep me from picking Marshawn Lynch. And it almost happened. So actually, Adam, thank you. You kept the reunion tour going, and you get a point. Now for losers, for me, I got Joe. He had the 6th pick of the second round, and he picked Amir Abdullah. Nothing wrong with Amir Abdullah, Joe. I think he's going to have a great year. But, man, you could have got him like the 5th round at least, if not even later. So for me, you losing a point, buddy. How about you, Josh?
I went with Elliott here. I think I think he went the very first pick in the second round.
Yeah.
And like was said in the last episode, and I think the more that I've done some drafts now and see where he's going, I think it's too high to draft him, especially when you're not going to have him for the first half of the regular season. Bad pick there.
All right. Let's go and move on to round 3. What do you got, Josh, for the winner?
Round 3, guy I have on a lot of my teams, not this one in particular, but who I like as a good third-round value is Joe Mixon. I think he's going to have a good in Cincinnati there, and I think he's a great keeper pick for the next few years. I think he's going to be one of those guys that you're going to be glad to give up a first-rounder for in the future here.
So that's a point for Craig. All right, sounds good. For me, actually, mine's also running back. It's weird. The third round had a lot of really good wide receivers go, but that was partly because there wasn't much running back left. And I think this person grabbed one of the last good ones in Carlos Hyde, and that was Tree.
Wow.
So Tree was my winner. Okay. She got Carlos Hyde in the 8th pick of this third round. For my loser, it's also a running back. You know, she went and got a good running back who's proven, again, injury-prone, but proven to be a very good running back given the opportunity with a new coach who's supposed to be very good at the offensive side of the ball. But Ben chose Mike Gillislee, and he clearly did not watch the pre-draft show or doesn't care what I have to say. But you know what? I'm taking a point away because that's how I roll. Ben, you lose round 3. All right.
What do you got, John? So I got a guy who, had a big year last year, probably helped a lot of people in their playoff push, but I think is highly overrated this year, and that's Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
I think for the third round in that offense, that's way too high. I don't think he's going to be able to repeat the special teams touchdowns he had last year, so I just don't think he's worth a third rounder there.
Yeah. I wrote a little small note under the loser. It was JJ, Tyreek Hill. So JJ got lucky. If it wasn't for Ben, he would have got double points on this round. Don't you guys listen to the pre-draft show? God.
All you got to do is listen.
So going into round 4, I'll go and do my winner first.
Okay.
It's going to be a little redundant, but it's Tree again. I think she did a really good job. She took Martavis Bryant in the middle of the 4th round at the 7th pick. And when you look at the draft board at that time, you look at people who picked around her, there's some solid receivers, but solid receivers. You know what you're going to get. They don't have a lot of upside, I think. You know, they don't have a lot of touchdown upside. People like Jamison Crowder got picked around him, who's going to be probably wide receiver low end 2, maybe high end 3. But he's not a red zone threat. Martavis Bryant could have a huge year. He could be low end wide receiver 1. It could happen. So I think it's a risky pick because, you know, if he picks up one more J, he's done for life probably. So it's a risky pick, but I like risky picks. So my points going to Tree. How about you, Matt?
Another guy that I have on a lot of my other teams who I just love in the 4th round is Calvin Benjamin. I think that was your pick, right? And I think he's going to have a monster year. Guy is looks like he's in better shape, not up around 275 like he was carrying around last year, and he's been the talk of Panthers camp. I've always liked him since he got in the league. He's just a monster, and I think he really clicks for him this year. And then that point you gave Tree for Martavis Bryant, you can go ahead and just take away because I think that's a terrible pick by the by. I don't think he has much value at all. I don't think I'd even roster him, especially not in the fourth round when you got guys, like I said, you got guys like Benjamin there. You got so many more options still in the fourth round that I think taking a fringe wide receiver 2 on a team that's got the best receiver in football, I don't know.
My loser for round 4, that's going to be... Oh, this is a double stack.
Uh-oh.
It's a double stack. We got 2 of them. It's going to be Neil, who I hear it's an auto pick, but it doesn't matter, man. You shouldn't walk away from the draft board. So he picked up Julian Edelman, who at the time was injured out for the season. So that's a negative point for Mr. Neil. And also for Aaron. What did I tell you, man? Don't pick up Spencer Ware. Don't you people listen to me? I mean, okay, at the time, we didn't know he was hurt. We knew he was hurt.
Right.
We didn't know he was out for the season.
Yeah.
But man,
don't take a hurt
listen to
running
me.
back.
So, yeah, he gets a minus point, too. You are my pick for the best point. You went out and you got Cam Newton. Again, there's not many. There's only 4 of us about quarterbacks. Cam Newton, I think, is going to have a really good year. I think locking him down was a good choice, a good idea. So, yeah, there you go.
Well, I appreciate that because I think this is about the time when it got busy at work. I was trying to draft at work, and it was like prime dinner rush time. So I think that's the last. I think that's the last good pick I made for maybe a few rounds because I was on auto draft there for a while.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the shout out there.
Nice.
Who are you going with for your worst pick of the round?
It's going to be Steven. You're gonna notice a theme here. If you picked someone I said not to pick in the pre-draft show, you're losing a point. And he picked Eddie Lacy in the 5th round. What are you thinking?
Not feast mode.
Yeah, feast mode. So yeah, Steven lost the point on that one. And that's that. Who'd you have for your loser in the 5th round?
Well, I think now I feel a little bad because you gave me some love, but I think did you draft Doug Martin in the 5th round?
I did.
And Doug Martin's suspended, right?
For 3 games, yes he is.
And he wasn't very good last year, right?
He was hurt last year. That's what I keep telling myself.
Did you go auto draft there as well, or?
No. That happened a little bit later, though. I'll get to that as we move on here.
All right. Enough. I'll stop squeezing the screws on you. Yeah, I don't like Doug Martin at all. I don't think he has much value this year. So I went with that. My worst pick. Pick I really like, even though he doesn't play in a super dynamic offense, is Stephon Diggs up in Minnesota. I think is ready to take the next step, even with the conservative Sam Bradford at the helm. I think that's a guy that's going to get you a lot of value. Wide receiver 2 clearly, and maybe low end wide receiver 1 upside in the 5th round. Great pick.
How about the 6th round? What do you think?
Kyle Rudolph. But I think again I'm staying in Minnesota on this one, which I'm not usually want to do, but I think he's the best tight end out there. I think you're looking at a top 3 fantasy tight end in Kyle Rudolph. Again with Sam Bradford at the helm, conservative offense, run the ball, throw it to your tight end in the tight spots, and I like that pick a lot there. I think that's great value.
And actually,
my worst pick.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he was actually part of a tight end run. I know. Yeah, man. Because it was Walker got picked, then Eifert, then Rudolph, then Bennett. It was a madhouse for a second on tight ends.
Yeah.
Actually, well, Walker was picked a little bit before the other 3, but it went right back to back. Eifert, Rudolph, and Martellus Bennett. It's a point for Neil. Neil picked up Kyle Rudolph. I got it.
Danny Woodhead got picked in this round as well. I know we're going to run in tight ends. I'm not a believer in Woodhead, and I hate his mustache, so minus a point for whoever picked Woodhead.
My winners, I have 2 again. I have a double stuff again. I got to give a little love to Steven, picking up Andrew Luck. again, the news has gotten worse since the draft, it seems. But at the time of the draft, we were thinking good chance of playing week 1. Definitely if he misses just 1 week. Now it sounds like maybe 2, maybe 3. But at the time, we were only thinking 1 game lost, and we were thinking top 3 quarterback possibility. So getting that person in the 6th round was a pretty good call. And I also have another tight end. I got Tree getting Tyler Eifert. Because, again, it's risky. I know. He's always injured. But I like risky picks. So Tyler Eifert, Tree's getting a little love for that one. As for my bad pick in the 6th, I don't care how good the backup running back is. If he's a backup running back, he shouldn't be drafted in the first 10 rounds. I don't care how good he is. So, you want to draft Tevin Coleman in the 6th round, you lose a point.
Yeah.
So, Adava, -1. And that's how it's going to go.
We're going around 7. And for those astute people out there, I have a hat on now. Yes, I have very different things behind me.
And I don't have a hat.
Jed's in charge now.
I'm wearing a different shirt.
Yeah. So, we had some technical difficulties. It's a couple of days later, but that's okay. We're going back into round 7, and I've been hating on him a little bit. I've been hating on him a lot, actually, so far this show, but I got to give him some love. I think Randall Cobb was the steal of the 7th round. I don't know. I don't see Devontae Adams. His yardage might be about the same, but half those touchdowns are going to go to Randall Cobb. And I think Randall Cobb was a wide receiver 1 a couple of years ago. He got hurt.
Yeah.
Rodgers still likes him, so I think that's a great pick. As Ben's wide receiver 3. So I'm giving him a point for that. Who do you got?
I went with Joski here in the 7th round and Bilal Powell. He's probably the only fantasy relevant player on the Jets team, and their quarterback McCown has played like 3 series all preseason. So I think that he's going to see a lot of action. Just for pure volume, I think he's a good pick in the 7th round there.
Nice.
On the other side of the coin, my loser in that round was Bag of Dickas, and I think, Paul Perkins. Was he? Did I do this last time? Was he kept?
Yeah, it's okay, man. Like last time, it's okay. But yeah, we wanted to take it easy on the keepers, but Paul Perkins is such a bad keeper. We're gonna keep him in. It's all right.
Yeah. Bag of Dickas definitely deserves to lose a point for that keeper there.
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, my punch in the face here was for JJ. Come on, man. 7th round. We called it. We said someone's going to take a kicker in the 7th round. It doesn't mean you can do it. It just means we think someone's going to be desperate enough to do it. So, and at least he took Justin Tucker and he didn't take Gostkowski. So at least he took the right kicker, but he still took a kicker before the 9th round. So actually before double digits. So he's getting a negative point for me there in the 7th. How about the 8th for you, Josh?
Well, in the 8th round, a guy I like a lot comes from Heinrich maneuver, and that's Derrick Henry. He's the main backup to DeMarco Murray in Tennessee, 2nd round pick a year ago. I think he's in line to see quite a few more touches this year, and he's a great handcuff. If Murray goes down, that's not going to change the offense. They still got a guy that they really like, can do a lot of damage for them. So I see that guy getting a lot of goal line work this year. He could creep into the high running back 2, category in the right situation. So 8th round pick there, I really like that. Who's your winner in the 8th?
I think I'm gonna start out with my loser actually because I got a couple winners. So I'm gonna start out with my loser, and that's gonna be Craig. Dude, CJ Prosise, why? There's Lacey, there's Rawls, there's Chris Carson. There's so many other people that were still on the board. Dude, Kareem Hunt again. we just saw what happened because this is now Sunday in Japan or Saturday. But even besides the point, we'll get to that later. But Kareem Hunt was still alive. There's other running backs still. Samaje Perine was still alive. There's many more running backs that who maybe didn't have a clear role to be starting it, but at least had more potential than freaking CJ Prosise.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Adam.
For my positives, I actually have 3 of them. They're my 3 thieves of the 8th round. Because I was sitting there at the end of the 8th round, just chilling. Everyone had their quarterbacks. Everyone was like, oh, Jeremy's going to get screwed. He's not going to get nothing. I was like, ha, ha, ha. I got 3 picks away. I got 2 guys in my queue that have been there since the 4th round. I'm chilling. I'm like, all right, it's going to work out. And then, pop! Jay fucking Cuddy. I say, man. But it's okay. I got 1 more guy in the queue. Actually, I got 2 more guys in the queue, but 1 more quarterback in the queue. And then the next pick, Zach Ertz. Pop! I said, damn it, man. I need a Jordan Reed insurance policy, and that just got taken from me. But I said, it's okay. It's okay. Got 1 more guy in the queue. Got my quarterback for the year. I'm going to be okay. Adam's not going to take him. But damn it, Adam takes him. Because he's a freaking Philadelphia Eagle fan. I forgot about that. And he took Carson Wentz. So the 3 thieves of the 8th round, Kristen, Adam, and Adama all get a point for me for taking my freaking players.
Ooh, big round.
Yeah. How about you, bud?
So my minus for this round, and this hurts to say because this guy was a number 1 Bear for a long time, and I think one of the more underrated backs in the NFL over the last 6-7 years. But Matt Forte at this point just doesn't have it in the tank anymore. He doesn't have the juice. Like I said before with Powell. Forte I don't think has much as far as relevance in fantasy land anymore. They're looking to trade him. So, unfortunately, Joski is going to have to lose a point on this one for his pick of Matt Forte in the 8th round.
I see. How about the 9th round?
So, in the 9th round, I'm going to stick with the I'm just walloping Joski here. He's going to lose another point. After giving him 1 in the 7th, I'm going to hammer him here in the 8th and the 9th. And Tyreek Hill. Again, we have some evidence here, but at the time, I wasn't a believer in Tyreek Hill. I thought he was just kind of a flash in the pan, kind of a gimmick guy, and a 9th round pick. I think there's still some receivers out there, mostly because I don't think he has the special teams value this year that he did last year. I don't think you're going to see the same touchdown numbers. But
for me, I'll do my good one first here. As I alluded to about Craig's pick, Samaje Perine was still there. And yeah, he didn't have as nice of a pathway as Kareem Hunt had at the time because Kareem Hunt, Spencer Ware is hurt. We didn't know he was out for the year yet, but we knew he was hurt. And Samaje Perine, though, the writing's on the wall. Like, everyone's saying he's going to be the starter. And even if it's not this year, the keeper value is going to be there. He's their guy. They drafted him high. They're going to give him the ball eventually. So for that, Aaron's going to get a point for me for Samaje Perine. And my negatives, I'll hop in and do those real fast too.
Yep.
This is another threefer, just like last round. This is 3 bad ones. Because Craig, Adam, and Tree all drafted kickers before the double-digit rounds. You just can't do it. So you all lose a point. I don't even care who they were. I wrote it down somewhere, but I don't care. You draft the kicker before the 10th round, losing points. How about you, buddy?
That's fair. So I had again. This is now after some new information, but my best pick in the 9th round, I gave it to Matt with Darren McFadden. At the time we were looking at Ezekiel Elliott's suspension. I thought McFadden was going to be really productive for the first half of the season. Obviously the law, the courts are saying otherwise now, but I thought at the time that McFadden was a really solid pick there. A guy you could ride for the first half of the season, see how your roster starts to shake out, So I had Matt with McFadden there. Moving on to round 10, guy I really like this year, a guy I was high on even before some of the injuries that occurred on the Patriots. But Chris Hogan, another guy who was really helpful for your team last year through the playoff run. Deep threat, solid receiver for the Patriots and that high-powered offense. I like him a lot. So that's my and that was Nuzzy Futz. The Nuzzy Futz got the Hogan.
Mr. Aaron.
So I think that's a real solid 10th round pick. I still think it's a solid 10th round pick, even though, especially now Amendola's might be out for a while. Edelman's done for the season. Gronk didn't look like himself. So I think you're going to see more and more of a target share go to Hogan.
I was really happy because the 10th round came around, and I was sitting there, and I had a guy I wanted. I had him laid out in my head. I had my picker. I had it ready. But I went to look for him. I'm feeding my daughter. You guys are drafting in the night. For me, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm trying to feed my daughter. We're trying to get started. Our day started. And I don't really have... I can't really type things. I'm just kind of like, scrolling up and down. I can't find Kareem Hunt. I can't find him. For whatever reason, Yahoo's ranking, he's like number 582. I'm like, well, you gotta be... Who the fuck does that, man? What kind... This is why I hate Yahoo. This is why I hate Yahoo, man. Like, ESPN, NFL. Even before Ware got injured, he was like in the top 40 running backs, where he should have been. But Yahoo, he's like running back 80 or something. Like, what the f is wrong with you people? So I couldn't find Kareem Hunt. So I couldn't draft Kareem Hunt because I couldn't type his name in because I had baby food in this hand, baby wipe in this hand. I got things to do. And I'm really salty now because we saw the game. We saw the game, so I'm really salty now. Yeah. But that's okay. Adama gets my point for this round. I'm going to jump into my negative one, too, just to get out the way. Because I need something to calm me down. And nothing can really just turn you off more than Eli Manning's face. The ambivalence, like, people give Jay Cutler shit for, his, I don't care look. Dude, at least he looks alive. Yeah. Eli Manning's just like, So, yeah. Eli Manning, I'm sorry, man. Sam Bradford was still there, okay? I took Sam Bradford. I wasn't looking at Eli Manning. I was going to take Eli Manning. Okay, he's going to have some good games. He always does. But he will also have 2 games this year. 2 games where he throws at least 4 picks. He does it every year. I mean, sometimes it's a bonus. Sometimes it's, you know what? You want a 5-pick game? Hell yeah, let's do it. I can't do it. I can't. It's just not worth it.
Don't be hating on little Manning. Come on, man. I'm going with. I'm gonna have to take a point from She Got Game here, and this is mostly for my personal rule of no Browns on your team. And she went ahead with Duke Johnson there in the 10th round. I don't care what kind of value you're getting out of him there. Don't have any Browns on your team. Period. Full stop.
You don't know how close I am to getting Deshaun Kaiser. I don't know what to do. I can't do anything. I had one Patrick Mahomes I drafted in the last round. I had my own little thing going. Yeah. But that was my one roster spot. I was gonna switch. I was gonna drop him before the games. Like I told you earlier, I was gonna get Alex Smith, just in case he did something like he did last night. But I couldn't because I had to pick up a running back because freaking Hurricanes are stealing all my running backs away. So I only had one active running back. And the other guy I was going to get, if it wasn't going to be Alex, it was going to be Deshaun Kaiser. But now, I don't get either one of them. So yeah, I'm rolling deep, man. Me and Bradford, this year, that's my guy.
Yeah, the other king of the 8-yard pass, fucking guy, fucking Sam Bradford.
Hey, if Alex Smith can do it, my boy Brady can do it too.
Oh Lord. I hate the Vikings.
Biscuits.
So. Yeah.
All right. In the 11th round, you're hating on the Browns. I'm gonna throw a little love on the Saints. I'm gonna give. We had 2 Saints go in the 11th round. The Saints. Again, this isn't real football. This is fantasy football. And you know what team scores a lot of fantasy points every year? The Saints. So
Drew
getting
Brees.
Saints 11th round is a good deal, I think. And I think Craig getting Ted Ginn Jr. and Kristen
Yep.
getting Kobe Fleener, who, of course, I mentioned in the pre-draft show. All
True.
good deals, so you both get a point from me.
Yeah, I like Ted Ginn. Solid wide receiver 3, deep threat. They're gonna chuck it down the field with Drew Brees there. So, and then I don't have anything for rounds 11 on because it started getting into a lot of kickers and defenses. So I just wanted to just point out a couple late round guys that I thought are good picks. Some for their keeper value, others who could potentially have a big year this year. So I got one wide receiver from Washington Redskins, Josh Dotson. The Redskins are going to throw the ball a ton. They are one of the top teams in the red zone as far as passing touchdowns, and Dotson's a guy I think you're going to have a nice upside with. Other couple guys I like, one blast from the past, but I think has an opportunity to do some damage, is Jamal Charles up in Denver. For a late round flyer, why not? Who knows? Maybe he can remake the magic for one season. Could creep into that running back 2 flex play position, although we don't have a flex in this league. And then I think with one of the last picks in the draft, a guy I saw at the Combine this year who just lit up the field, O.J. Howard for Tampa Bay. I think just for the keeper potential there in the last round, and also the kid's got unbelievable talent. I mean, he's just a beast. I mean, it was him and the guy that's now Myles Garrett. Both those guys just look like the 2 best athletes at the Combine, and I mean, really just jumped out at you. So I think he's got a real bright future in the NFL, especially with Winston coming into his own down there. I think that's I don't remember who drafted him, but whoever did, that's going to be a keeper for them for a long time.
I'm going to rattle off the 12 through 15s for me real fast then.
Yeah.
So in the 12th round, this is the first round I think it's okay to draft a kicker. I still probably wouldn't do it, but I think it's okay. So, that being said, Kristen took Matt Prater, who's actually my favorite kicker this year, and Neil took Adam Vinatieri, so they both get a point for me. And then the minus point for 12th round is, again, if I'm going to take away a point for Eli Manning, I got to take one for Blake Bortles. Sorry, Teds.
Who did it?
I mean, this year their defense is actually good enough, maybe, and they have a good enough running back, maybe, that Blake Bortles won't get as much garbage time as he usually does. Because that's what saves him. Just throwing for 400 yards a game in garbage time. So I don't, he might not even be the starter the whole year.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen with that guy.
What a mess they
and
are.
then in the 13th, again, just like the 12th, the 13th is the earliest round. I think it's okay to get a defense. Because you're just not going to do it. There's no defense. I don't care how good it is. You're not going to start them every week of the season.
Yeah.
You draft Minnesota Vikings defense. Yeah, they're great. Awesome. You're going to start them twice a year versus the Packers? No. You're not going to do it. You might do it the first time, then you're going to oh, damn, I shouldn't have done that. You're not going to do it the second time. So, if you can't, it's not you're going to have to drop it at some point. Especially in this league where you have to hold on, even I know half the guys we have on rosters are oh, this guy sucks. But you know what? He's better than what's out there, man.
Exactly. Yeah, there's nobody
14-team league. There's not much out there.
Yeah,
So,
when Mike Glennon is topping the waiver wire, it's thin out there.
Yeah. So yeah. So anyway, so 13th is the first round. I think it's okay. So Adam and Adama, who both got the Giants and the Rams, who are actually still pretty good defenses on paper, pretty late in the draft. So they both get a point for that. The negative for 13 is Craig. He did draft a defense. So again, 13th round is a fine time to take a defense, but not your second defense. It's the okay time to take your first defense. It is not an okay time to take. You shouldn't take a second defense. It just
It's
should
never
not
a good
happen.
time. It's never a good time to
so-
pick the second defense.
So Craig lost the point in the 13th round. 14th, this is the injury bonanza. These players will probably get hurt the first play of the year and get you no points. But on this show, they're going to get you 1 point. So you'll get at least 1 point for him this year. And that is Zach Miller with Adam, who has shown plenty of talent, just hasn't shown he can stay on the field.
As soon as he gets
Kevin
touched,
White, which you picked up, Josh. Kevin
Yep.
White, who again, his draft pedigree, physical specimens, great. All that stuff checks the boxes, but again, just can't stay healthy. And especially if now that we know Cameron Meredith's out,
Yep.
that makes him even better. If he can stay on the field, that's going to be it's going to be a nice 14th round pick. And then JJ with Rashad Perryman. I actually have the least amount of faith in him staying healthy of the three. All that being said, the Ravens are going to throw the ball.
Yeah.
They're going to throw the ball a lot. So if you get a piece of that offense, not too bad in the 14th round.
I think Perriman.
speaking-
I think Perriman gets hurt so much because he actually is probably like 50 years old. You ever seen that guy's face? He's got like the
Yeah.
Greg Oden face. Like he looks like he's like 45, 50 years old.
Yeah, he's got Greg Oden's face of LeBron James's receding hairline.
Yeah.
Right It's like if LeBron James had dreadlocks. That's pretty
Yep.
much what he would look like. Yeah. And while I'm on a roll here of quarterbacks that I don't like, Joe Flacco. You're losing a point too. That was Joe. Just because the guy has the same name as you don't get that's not a pass. Okay? If I had drafted Jeremy Hill in the goddamn 5th round, I hope to God Josh would be like -1.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't matter if he has the same name. If you pay too much for a guy, you pay too much for him. And Joe Flacco, yeah, he's gonna throw the ball a lot. It doesn't mean he's gonna get a lot of points. Last year he led the league in pass attempts and completions, but he was yet quarterback like 19.
Yeah.
So it's
They can't
not
put it in the end.
it's not all gravy. Oh, and actually I know I forgot one. The 11th round. My 11th round loser is actually someone. I think they got stuck on that NFC Championship game. Sorry, the NFC Conference Divisional game when their tight end made a dramatic toe dotting the sideline catch to win the big game.
Oh,
To
God.
get them into the NFC Championship game. I think Aaron just stuck in that moment, and he drafted Jared Cook in the 11th round. And we've seen this before. Jared Cook switches teams every couple of years. He never does anything. Even last year in Green Bay, he had that one great play, but on the year he was like tight end like 42. All right, and my last ones for the 15th round, I got a handful of people here actually. I have 3 guys I gotta give some love. Ben, Joe, and Steven. Ben, who I give crap sometimes, about drafting things early. He waited the whole draft and got his kicker in the last round. So man, get a point for that. Okay.
Way to go, Ben. Way to go, Ben.
And Joe, who reached hella early for Amir Abdullah, and every other Lions player he always drafts every year. He waited to get his defense to the last round. Granted, he drafted the Detroit Lions defense, which are pretty awful, but that's beside the point. He waited to the last round to get his defense, so I'm giving a point for that. And then Steven, in terms of keepers, again, you touched on it earlier. So getting O.J. Howard, who, again, might not do much this year, but career-wise could be a really, really good tight end for years to come. I think that's a great call, so he gets a point for that. 15th round, the losers. Again, Joe gets a point for picking his defense in the last round. But if you pick your second defense, I don't care what round it is. So, Kristen, Tree, and JJ all lose a point for picking their second defense. So now we get a couple this is we know this is the boxing match, but so when you're boxing, not every punch is the same.
Yeah.
So we got a couple. We have a couple crosses for you here. This is a bonus 1 point. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 crosses. Matt's pick of David Johnson in the first round gets an extra point. Again, I know it was the first pick of the draft. He was lucky enough to have it. It doesn't make a difference. David Johnson's getting an extra point. Aaron taking Samaje Perine in the ninth. I like it a lot. That gets an extra point. Steven getting Andrew Luck in the 6th round. Again, every day it gets a little bleaker and bleaker
Yeah.
when he's going to come back. But at
Yeah.
the time of our draft, we thought maybe 2 weeks. So, again, getting that in the 6th round I thought was really good. And then, again, Steven, O.J. Howard last round. I'm giving him an extra point for that, too. You got any crosses for me, bud?
Yeah, I really liked. I like Ben's pick of Christian McCaffrey. I think that was a 3rd round pick. I think that guy's got. I don't know how well he's going to be the best running back that anybody's ever seen, but I think for fantasy purposes, that's a guy you definitely want on your squad, and you probably want him on your squad for the next couple of years here. So I like that pick a lot. I like the pick of by you of Calvin Benjamin. I think Benjamin's going to have a real big bounce back season. 2 Panthers there that I like for extra points. One other guy that I liked a lot is Gillislee. I think, and I had this opinion before we saw the game, but he's not gonna, he's obviously not gonna get in there and repeat, the 18 touchdowns by LeGarrette Blount. But Patriots run the ball more than anybody inside the 10-yard line. That's what they like to do down in that area. They'll throw all over the field and get down, within the 10, and then they're going to bring out, extra linemen, 2 tight ends, and they're going to power that ball in there. So I think he's great mid-round value. I think he's got running back 1 status for the season. So those are my 3.
I got 2 uppercuts. Again, 2 uppercuts. We're getting closer now. For me, again, I think Robert Gronkowski, again, he didn't show up too much last night, but he was second on the team in targets behind a guy that just got knocked out with a head injury, so he's going to get used. And don't discount the fact that the Chiefs have Eric Berry and some of the best linebackers in the league to try to keep him in check. So I got an uppercut for Adam in the 2nd round, getting Rob Gronkowski for 2 extra points. And then Kareem Hunt in the 10th round. This would have been a knockout blow after if we knew what happened last night. We don't. So it's just an uppercut, 2 extra points. Do you got an uppercut for me, Josh?
There's 2 receivers that I like that I think could pay big dividends, and they both happen to be on Aaron's team. Stephon Diggs in Minnesota, I think, is primed for a big breakout for them. Like you said, you like Sam Bradford. I think he's going to be their number 1 target. His kid's got all kinds of talent. And the other one is Keenan Allen. Devastating, loss last year if you drafted him high. He was arguably one of the top, maybe 7, 8 wide receivers available last year. Hurt, misses the season. But I think all indications are that he's back pretty good. And, they're going to score a ton of points there. I think Keenan Allen, for where he was drafted, was a really good steal. I think that's somebody you're going to see a top 10 wide receivers for fantasy this year. So I like that pick a lot.
Before we get to the knockout, let's do the low blows. Okay?
Oh.
Just the low blows. This is minus 1 point. These are the only negative ones we're going to do. Okay?
All right.
Don't worry. We're not going to have... We were thinking about doing a Mike Tyson ear-biting thing, but it's okay. We're just going to do some low blows. For me, my low blows are my double up on the 4th round. They're both low blows. Spencer Ware and Julian Edelman. I understand that you might have walked away. It might have been auto pick. It doesn't matter what it is. If you draft an injured guy in the 4th round, that's a low blow.
That's bad. That's bad on you.
Yeah. And of course, the first kicker who gets drafted is a low blow. So JJ, another one for you. And the last one, the first double defense, Craig. In the 13th round, drafting your second defense, another one. That's a low blow. Minus one more point.
No.
What do you got for me, Josh?
I'm gonna keep clean here. I don't have any. I've already taken points away from the people that I wanted to take points against. We're keeping a clean fight here. No low blows in this round. Everybody, keep it above the belt, and let's play nice here. I'm not gonna take any additional points away. So you guys got what you deserve here.
Okay. You like worse than my wife, man. Making like the mean guy. My wife's like, okay, Jim, we're gonna go home. She can't have any juice today. Okay, no juice, no snack. Oh, okay. And I go in first, and she's like, oh, ma, juice. I say, no, you can't have juice. No. And then she cries, and my wife's, oh, I know, Daddy's such a mean guy. Here's a little juice. I'm like, what the fuck, man? This is the plan. I gotta be the asshole now.
Oh no.
Alright, so it's a fight. So you do have to have a knockout punch. You gotta have something to put you on the canvas. I got 2 knockout punches for this year. I'm gonna throw them at 2 people who I threw a little shade at the pre-draft show, and I said, oh, they might reach for somebody, but they didn't. Well, actually, they did reach for people, but they didn't reach for these 2 people. They waited. They played it smart. So I'm going to give a little knockout blow to Joe and Ben for waiting to get their kicker and defense to the last round of the draft. So each of them will get 3 extra points for me. You got a knockout blow for me, Josh?
I do. I got one.
It's like, why are they laughing? That thing was funny. I love video editing.
My knockout punch for the draft that goes to my buddy Matt. If excuses start soon. Having David Johnson with the number 1 overall pick, and then being able to come back and fill out the receivers the way that he did. He kept Terrell Pryor, but he also landed DeAndre Hopkins, and he also got himself Deshaun Jackson. I think he really did well rounding out his top 4 there. He gets the knockout punch of the draft.
Nice. All right, now we're going to jump into the best cores of the draft so far. This is the best wide receiving cores and best running back cores that people have. I'll kick us off with my number 2 wide receiver core, and that's going to go to Tex. It's going to go to Fuzzy Nuts. He has, as we alluded to earlier, he drafted Doug Baldwin, Stephen Diggs, Dante Moncrief, Keenan Allen, and Mohamed Sanu. He's since traded Doug Baldwin for Brandon Cooks, but the difference between those 2 is, to me, not that big. Either way, if he would have got Brandon Cooks, he still would have been number 2. I think Stephen Diggs, Keenan Allen, Moncrief, once Luck comes back, will be fine. So, yeah, he's my wide receiver 2 core.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. I had him down as my number 2 as well. Nice. Even with the trading away of Cooks, like you said, I think Diggs has a big year. Keenan Allen, I think, bounces back well from his injury. So, but my number 1 overall receiving core, I'm going to give it to you. I know you went with getting the band back together. You got Odell Beckham again, and I think also one of my favorite picks in the draft this year, Calvin Benjamin. I think those 2 guys you could see finishing in the top 10 for sure, maybe even both finishing in the top 5 as far as fantasy wide receivers this year. Beckham's getting a little bit banged up to start, but it doesn't matter. Even if he only plays 14 games, I still think he finishes top 3 wide receiver. So you get my vote for the best receiving core to start the year.
Collusion! That's what they're going to be saying. But my number 1 wide receiving core goes to you, my friend. In case anyone hasn't seen his roster of wide receivers, you'll understand. We have Jordy Nelson, Amari Cooper, Michael Thomas, Tyler Lockett, and Kevin White. The top three there, those are all wide receiver ones. Jordy Nelson, Amari Cooper, Michael Thomas. I mean, arguably, depending on who you're drafting with, those are all first-round picks. If not, they are definitely all going to be gone in the second round. So that's a really nice 1-2-3 punch. And for your bye weeks, to get Kevin White with a ton of upside for no real cost. And again, I'm not necessarily a big Tyler Lockett fan, but if it's a bye week, you're just throwing in a prayer, and he can always get a touchdown, man. That's the one thing he can always do. So that's not a horrible option. I mean, for a bye week fill-in, I'd rather have someone who could maybe go deep, get a big play, than someone who's going to give me just 5 catches for 35 yards. So not a bad choice. So you're my wide receiver number 1 group.
Woohoo!
Now for the running backs. I'm going to start us off with my number 1 running back core, because I don't think there's not much suspense here. And it's Adama.
Yeah.
I mean, to get Melvin Gordon, even though kept or not, to have Melvin Gordon paired with LaShawn McCoy, and then to have the time to type in Kareem Hunt and to find him in Yahoo's rankings, that's a great third running back. And he also has Tevin Coleman, who, again, if it's a bike, I'm not a huge Tevin Coleman fan, especially where he drafted him because he's just a backup. But still, to have him, if it's a bye week and I have to put Tevin Coleman in, I'm not going to be mad. Not in a 14-person league.
Yeah.
So I get it. And then they have Joe Williams, who I think he might actually drop since the draft, but either way. But at that point, he was still healthy. He was the backup to a very, very often injured running back, and he was the running back that new coaching regime had drafted. So that thought was a good pick too.
I would agree there. I had Adama as my number 2.
Okay.
My number one that I liked, and more so for kind of not necessarily the top, using your top draft capital on running backs, but I thought Ben really drafted wisely in the running back department. He's got himself Christian McCaffrey, who I think is going to be fantasy gold this year. He also got himself Mike Gillislee, who he had 3 touchdowns last night, but even before then, I thought he was going to have a really good year.
This is the draft review show, okay?
Yeah.
We haven't seen anything.
Yeah. I think Gillislee's going to have a great year for the Patriots. They love to run the ball in the red zone, especially when they get down within the 10-yard line. He's also got Derrick Henry, who I talked about earlier, really good backup there, who's going to see probably 150, 200 touches this year. And he also took a flyer late on Jamal Charles, which if you're going to take a flyer on somebody, why not somebody with some really high upside? Nobody really knows what Denver's offense is going to look like this year, and maybe a catch lightning in the bottle, and Charles has a good year for them. So my best running back core goes to Ben, more so for the wise use of draft capital there and getting some really high upside guys.
My number 2 running back core, I'm actually going to go with She's Got Game. I'm going to give it to Tree. Yes, Isaiah Crowell and Carlos Hyde with Duke Johnson. And now I know Duke Johnson's just the backup, so I'm not even going to count him. I'm just going to say she has 2 running backs. Isaiah Crowell and Carlos Hyde, but I think they're both going to have really good years. And again, they're the only ones left, really. After the keepers in the first round, there wasn't much left to go off of. And, she did I think she did the smart thing. If her second and third round pick, she went and got those 2 guys to lock up her positions.
Best overall draft, in my opinion. Using keepers wisely and filling in around those guys. I mean, we're looking at a starting lineup right now, just after the draft of Tom Brady, Brandon Cooks, Jay Crowder, LaShawn McCoy, Melvin Gordon. You got Kareem Hunt in there. Also has, some really nice bench players, I think, in Corey Coleman, Willie Snead. Zach Ertz is a starting tight end. He's also got Eifert on that team. As much as I don't like to, because I think he beat me last year in the championship, but Adamas Lamas, I think, has my highest grade of the draft so far. He's got a solid squad from top to bottom. I think he's looking at heading into the playoffs again this year. So Adama, I'm mad that you beat me, but you win the draft. Ding ding.
Well, he has your vote for the best team. The winner, we will decide shortly. For me, I have my two choices for the best draft. I have two of them this year, and I think this might actually surprise you. I'm going to go with Kristen and Tree. I want to give both our girls some love. Again, I'm looking at this in terms of who they drafted when, how they filled out their roster, the steps they took. I don't feel like they didn't do a lot of reaches. Trees, her keeper, Larry Fitzgerald, was a reach, but we're talking about the draft and drafting.
Yeah.
All of her draft picks, I think she did fairly well. I mean, she went out and got, again, Isaiah Crowell and Carlos Hyde, second and third round. She got her two running backs who I think are both studs, both have good situations, have lots of talent. She went after Martavis Bryant in the fourth round, who I know you don't like, but got a lot of upside. And at that point, there wasn't that much else out there. And then in the fifth round, she also had another really big upside guy in Cameron Meredith. Again, stories changed a little bit, but at the time of the draft, I thought that was a really nice pick. And then she got Tyler Eifert. Again, huge upside, man. Huge upside. Then she kept Marcus Mariota, which is, again, I'm really big on him this year. The 8th round, 9th round, man, she almost lost it for me because she drafted her defense and a kicker. She filled out her roster. But the sad thing is, at both situations, that was the third or fourth kicker or defense drafted at that point. So she wasn't even the first three. So I was like, I can't hate on her too much. Everyone else is doing it. She took Duke Johnson Jr., which again, I'm not, I don't know what he's gonna do. But again, as we said earlier, he's been out there as a scat back recently as a wide receiver, so he might have a really good year. And worst case scenario, he's just insurance for her second round pick, which in this draft, that's not a bad idea to have. And then she took Carson Palmer, who I love. Dude, Carson Palmer, that was the last guy before Sam Bradford on my list. Kristen, again, she kept Julio Jones in the first. She backed it up with Lamar Miller and Dalvin Cook. Again, running backs are very thin. And she went out and she spent second and third round picks on her running backs to lock them up. She went and got Russell Wilson in the fourth because she needed a quarterback. And between me, you, and Steve, she got the best one available. She went and got Devontae Parker. I think he's got, again, ton of upside, man. I think, a lot of these, in the fourth, fifth round, I would rather draft high upside guys than the safe guys. And they both went high upside. She took Martellus Bennett in the sixth. Again, I don't even like I don't like the value, but the truth is there was a really big run at tight ends. If you look at the draft board, there's a huge run on tight ends. There was like 4 in a row. So he was like the only one left that had potential to be big, and she swiped him up real fast. So I thought that was a smart move. Again, I don't like him. I would have probably took Zach Ertz instead, but I think taking a tight end at that time with her team was a good decision. She took Adam Thielen and Jay Cutler the next 2 rounds, which I like both those guys, man. I think Thielen's great. I was going to draft Jay Cutler if she didn't, so I like that pick too. And then, again, Kobe Fleener, I love it. Matt Prater, that's my number one kicker. Arizona defense in the 10th, a little bit early, but to get a really, really good defense, all right. She kept Terrence West in the 13th, which I think is great. And then took a flyer on her hometown, or I guess she's in San Diego now, but she used to live in Arizona. So took a flyer on the hometown homer pick of J.J. Nelson in the 14th. Why not?
Yeah.
So those are my 2 picks for the best drafters this year, Kristen and Tree. That's you, Eliasha. That's you, yeah. Say hello.
Hello, G.
Hello.
Hello.
Matakene. Yeah. Alright guys, hello everybody. Thanks for watching. We do have to give away, give out the final scores. So here we go. Here it is. Boom, 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 boom. Our disqualified players. Too many low blows. Neil, JJ, and Craig all got disqualified in the fights. Our middleweight contenders. Yeah, are Steven, Joe, Jeremy, Josh, Adam, Tree, Kristen, and Matt with 1 through 7 scores. And then our heavyweight brawlers. Aaron with 9 points and Ben with 10 points. And our winner this year's draft review champion is Adama with 11 points. Congrats, man. Now remember, everybody, it's just like the Yahoo draft grades. They're all pretty much bogus. So don't worry about it. You can do the waivers, set your lineups, win some games, win the league. Alright guys, take it easy. And I promise, next episode, at the most, 20 minutes. And they should be that long for the rest of the season. Take it easy, guys. Yeah, say bye-bye. Say good luck. Good luck. Say good luck. Good job. See you guys.